You are listening to the Disney Dream Girls, an unofficial Disney Theme Parks podcast, and this is show number 452 for Sunday, the 30th of April, 2023.
Where dreams begin.
Hello and welcome to this week's Disney Dream Girls. My name is Michelle Young, and along with my jolly good chum Jane Phipps, we are your guides to the place where dreams begin. Hey up there, Phipsus.
Hey up there, Michelle. Cracky, that's proper Derbyshire, hey up.
Well, you know, I'm getting Derby-sized.
Been around me too long, that's the problem.
I know. And I got something in the post from you yesterday, but I don't think I have to open it for a little bit yet.
No, I've been very organised because as we venture into the month of May, I guess a little bit busy for me because I've got lots of birthdays. I don't know what it is about May, but I've got you, I've got another friend, I've got Simon, I've got Molly, I've got one of Molly's friends, or two of Molly's friends, and then I've got another friend at the end. Yeah, May's not a good month for me for birthdays.
Snap. I've got Kat, I have got Lena, I have got Joseph, my grandson, I have got my brother, although he don't believe in cards, so that's a good point. And and then my own. So yeah,
it's full on, isn't it?
It's mental, and it's such a busy month because it's a fragmented month because we have so many bank holidays and holidays in the month of May. It's just going to go, and before I know it, it's going to be June.
Well, I'm going to say we've got a crazy month coming up because I've got a few things that we're doing with regards to our Star Wars cosplay. I don't think I've even told you about this, Michelle. We've got a special May the 4th. We have a couple of events happening. So we've been asked to get involved with the promotion for the East Midlands, or it's called MCon, which happens in Nottingham, and the Nottingham Tram System is sponsoring the event, and we've been asked to help with something. We don't know what we're doing, but on May the 4th, apparently we have a tram to ourselves and we're doing something in costume. So watch this space. And then on the evening, we're going to be in character again, but this time at a screening of The Return of the Jedi, because it's the 40th anniversary of the film, so there's lots of screenings happening. But this screening is actually happening up in Derbyshire, in the Peak District, at a place called Castleton, which is where they have a lot of mines. And I remember this from being a child. We used to go to what's called the Blue John Mine. One of those classic places that all the schools around here we used to go to, a little bit local history. But they have these pop-up cinemas that happen in one of the caves. So we'll be in costume at this pop-up cinema event in a cave on May the 4th. And then we have another one possibly happening a little bit further on in the month, but I can't say anything about that because it's very secret.
Busy.
Busy.
I did see some pictures from the other weekend as well that you're out and about, so yeah. I do gather you've saved yourself a bucket load of money, and this is very rare, a bucket load of Disney money.
It is, yeah. I mean, and I was a little bit scared doing this, I have to say, because I messaged you yesterday, not long after I'd done this little bit of saving. I was a little bit proud of myself, I have to admit. But yeah, this is for my Disney cruise in September. So we must have booked this cruise. I'm thinking it must have been last September, October time. It was quite a while ago that we booked the cruise. Simon and I's first cruise, and our first cruise Disney, our first cruise ever. So we picked a room. We decided we'd go for a room with a porthole. That was all we kind of wanted. We found a room where we thought might be okay on the ship. Having never sailed before, we've got no real idea of where best to be, which I know some people can be particular about where they are on the ship. And there wasn't very many rooms left, and we just booked the one that we thought was the best of where we could get. I then, under your instructions, Michelle, joined a Facebook group to do with the cruise, and I could see people posting on there about things like car parking and menus for different restaurants were going up. So all the usual sorts of things, very informative, very handy to know. People sharing discount codes for car parking and things like that. And then somebody put up that they'd released guaranteed rooms, and they were saving quite a bit of money. And I thought, you know what? It's not going to affect us because we've only opted for, one of the cheaper seats, so to speak. We won't benefit from this. And I don't know what compelled me yesterday, but I thought, you know what? I'll just take 5 minutes out of my busy day and have a look. So I went on, and basically we have been able to cancel our existing booking and then rebooked, and we've gone from a room with a porthole to a veranda room. And the only thing is, we don't know whereabouts on the ship it's going to be, so we don't have a room number as yet.
Well, my understanding of how they do this is they allocate you a room, and it could be any time. And at the end of the day, you're going to get at least a veranda style
Exactly.
room. So
Yeah.
you're going to be on the ship with a veranda,
Yeah.
and you're not that picky of where that veranda and where that room is. To save that amount of money, what an
Yeah.
absolute boon.
Well, this was it. It was like, I thought, you know what, we'll go on. And if it's a couple of £100, I'm not going to be overly fussed, sort of thing. I'll keep where I am. But it was £1,300 that I've saved. And it's like, that's not a small amount of money. That's a big chunk of money. Hence why today I'm looking at Port Adventures and, starting to figure out what we're going to be doing. But it was like, I can't believe that's right. But I'd had other people on the Facebook group also saying some had saved 600, 800. One lady saved £1,700.
Wow.
And I thought, that amount of money, like you say, Michelle, I know that we're going to get a veranda room. It could be better even, but that's the minimum that they're guaranteeing that we get. We just don't know where it's going to be on the ship. Hey ho.
And another plus point you've got is that it is during non-school holidays. So they are trying to fill that ship up. And,
Yeah.
you're lucky that there might be, as you said, you've got this discount.
Yeah, I think that's possibly why the I'd seen a while ago that I think Disney had even sent me emails, because once you're on a mailing list, you're on a mailing list, aren't you? And they were pushing, these discounts for these Northern European cruises. And I thought, oh yeah, ours is on there. Yeah, whatever. Kind of dismissed it as a bit of a marketing ploy to get you to look. And I thought, I don't need to look because I'm already on that ship. And but yeah, I suspect as well, Michelle, the same as you. We go just as all the schools in the UK and Europe will be returning. I do know we've got quite a few people travelling over from the States to come on board this ship, and I do know from the comments that I've seen that we have got groups that are travelling with children. So, but I'm guessing they will be younger children. It is that time of year, and it's like I would never want to take my children out of school at that particular time of year because I think it's very important that they're there for when the school year starts. That may have an effect, and it may mean they're just trying to get, better to sail out with a full ship, isn't it, than sail out with a half full ship.
Right, well, moving away from cruise line, shall we have a little bit of a talk about Disney talk?
I think we ought to, don't you?
I was incredibly excited at the weekend looking at some of the pictures from Disneyland After Dark.
Oh, okay.
And there's going to be a further event on May the 2nd, May the 4th, May the 8th and May the 11th.
Right, okay.
And it's themed to something that might interest you.
Oh, go on then.
Not that you're going to be getting on a plane and going.
No, but I can enjoy from afar.
It's a Star Wars night.
Which would be appropriate around May the 4th, of course.
It is, but obviously in true Disney style, it's like the Halloween parties in Walt Disney World. Let's just remember the fact that Halloween is at the end of October, but let's sell parties all the way through August, because what else screams Halloween than having your face melted off you during the hot August months?
Yeah, they like to take advantage of a little event, don't they?
And I will actually say the number of Halloween parties I have been to that have had problems in August because of the weather and it not being a full event, I will never ever do Halloween in August again on the Mickey's Not So Scary Halloween party, because you just don't get the full event. It gets cancelled off. You don't get to see the parade, you don't get to see bits and pieces, there's not the outside entertainment, and you get soaking wet.
Yeah, which is always the issue, isn't it? With, you take that on board, don't you? If you're going to go, July, August, even into the beginning of September, that's likely to happen in Florida, and that's just part of the course. But like you say, when it disrupts and you can't plan on that, can you, at all? Plus as well, I think I've said it before, I don't particularly want to see Halloween decorations up when I'm there on my summer vacation.
True. Anyway, back to Star Wars.
Yes.
There is an absolute plethora of Star Wars characters that you will be able to meet in the park.
Okay.
And I do know from the last one where people were able to meet lots of characters, it's a big hit because a lot of people want to see these characters. And they've broken it down land by land. And there's some pretty amazing ones that you're able to meet.
Okay.
Galaxy's Edge are showing off Chewbacca, Kylo Ren, Rey, C-3PO, Mandalorian and Grogu, V. Moradi. A lot of these are available during normal meet times, but Tomorrowland has got Darth Vader and Darth Maul, R2-D2, Emperor Palpatine and his Royal Guard.
Ooh.
But yeah, loads and loads of meets. There's going to be some special entertainment. Star Wars Celebrate the Night fireworks show.
Ah.
There's a Fleet of Fandom at 10:15 and 11:15 too.
Okay.
So it all sounds a lot of fun. If you are going, please, please, please let us know. I imagine there will be some themed food because obviously Disney want to check in with as much things as they possibly can.
Yes, I would imagine there's going to be lots of theming of stuff, isn't there?
Yeah, and I don't suppose we could ever categorise ourselves as a Disney podcast without mentioning what happened last week, the horrific scenes that we woke up to in the morning with regards to the dragon in Fantasmic Murphy and oh my word, is bursting into flames.
It was, I must admit, I saw some photos and thought, oh yeah, whatever. And then I saw the videos and it was almost compelling to watch, which is the wrong word to use, I know. But it was like, it started off kind of at the top and then all of a sudden you just saw it go up and it was like, oh my goodness, that's properly, this is not just a little thing that's happened. This is a big thing that's happened. There's speculation the cause was possibly a leak of flammable fluid that was dripping out of its mouth. But I suppose you've got this gas pipeline going up it, haven't you, to keep that fire going. So there's obviously something's gone wrong somewhere.
And all we can say is, thankfully, none of the performers, the technicians or anybody involved with the show was injured. And I think that is testament to the level of safety that there is around this particular show.
Yeah, and I was amazed to see, I think I saw some footage the following day of the remains. And actually, surprisingly, the Tom Sawyer housey thing behind it was still intact. It obviously it had been contained, and the damage wasn't perhaps as, I suppose, as extensive as it could have been going into Tom Sawyer Island. But still not good. And obviously they've shut down the parade versions of these as well for the time being, haven't they? Until they actually know what's caused this problem.
Yeah. Right. So let's move on, and we're going to talk a little bit now more about my trip.
Oh, of course you went over there to that oldie Lando place, didn't you?
I know. And last week's show, I talked a little bit about getting there. Well, this week I want to talk about the 3 different accommodations I was very fortunate to stay in.
Oh, okay.
Accommodation number 1.
Yeah.
So I had got my Uber from MCO. I arrived at Pop Century. I was sharing this with 2 friends and they'd tried to check into the room earlier and they had been told, oh, it's not ready yet. This is your room number, but you can't get in yet. And that was a little bit of an inconvenience because one of them had arrived in the early hours of the morning. The other one had arrived about 3 o'clock. They were both keen to get their things into the room, but they couldn't, so they left it all in bell services. And as I arrived, it was about 7:30, 8 o'clock at night. I was the first one to be able to get to the room. So the first thing I did is I looked on the app, and the app told me the room number, room 114. It said, you're not able to get into your room. So I had to go through the whole process of going to the front desk and having a word with the cast member there. Really lovely lady, but she couldn't understand why. And basically, after 10-15 minutes of toing and froing with different cast members, it found out that the housekeeping team hadn't checked a button on the online system to say the room was actually ready.
Oh.
So we got that sorted, and we hadn't requested a room via touring plans like I'd done last year. We hadn't made any room requests. We got a bog standard room. We didn't pay for preferred or anything like that. Because for me, the room for me is a place to lay my head rather than a place to enjoy the resort. Because that's what you pay for pop for. I was really surprised that the room was literally under a 5-minute walk from both the bus station, the Skyliner, and the main hub building.
Nice.
I was so surprised, and it's quite a little bit extra to pay for a preferred room, so I've never bothered with Pop with doing that, and I've always found myself to be really lucky. I got a lovely ground floor room, and it was fantastic.
Cool.
So your basic rooms at Pop can hold 4 people, accommodated by 2 beds. One of them is a pull-down bed. So when I got to the room, the pull-down bed was actually pulled up, and the room looked incredibly spacious at that point, because when the room bed is up, it converts into a table, and you had a couple of chairs, then you had the bed, and there's a big dresser with a TV above. There's a beverage bar where you have your chiller for the water and any other goodies. Remember, it's a chiller, not a fridge. Big difference.
Yeah.
And then you've got the coffee machine and all the accoutrements that you need to make the coffee. That's all in the main room. You have USB ports everywhere. Oh my word, it was so amazing to see the number of USB ports in this room. It was fantastic. Like, we had them either side of the bed, we had them on the main dresser. Stephen had brought with him, I think, 742 magic bands. No, that's an exaggeration. He'd brought with him, I think, 10 or 11, and every now he plugged in his magic band charger and it glowed in the dark as he charged up all his magic bands. But between the 3 of us, we all had iWatches, iPhones, plenty of places to charge all of that up, so we didn't have a panic or worry with regards to charging.
Cool.
Obviously, the plus point with Pop is you have the separate bathroom and sink area.
Yes, which when you're sharing is very much appreciated.
Yeah. For me, the main point of stopping at Pop was the Skyliner. It is incredibly quick to get on the Skyliner and get to Hollywood Studios and to Epcot. And if you really want to, you can then get on the monorail from Epcot to Magic Kingdom, but bear in mind, that's only operational at certain times in the day because of this all hoo-ha. You can't hop till after 2.
Of course, yeah.
But we never really had a really long line for the Skyliner. I think one morning we were going at stupid o'clock in the morning and there was a line, and it was quite a long line. You'd have looked at it and walked past it if it was an attraction like, let me think, if it was an attraction such as Ariel's Adventure or anything like that.
Yeah.
But it moved really quickly, and within 15 minutes we were on that Skyliner, and that's the only time we've really had to wait more than a couple of minutes.
Did you ever use it coming back late at night at all, Michelle? Because I know people have often commented that getting back on it can be problematic in that respect.
We were very fortunate that we didn't hit that big push of people at the end of the day, because when we'd stayed in Epcot late, we had gone on the monorail over to Magic Kingdom, because in the Magic Kingdom we were very fortunate that it stayed open till 11 o'clock, so we missed that. But last year Caroline and I had a massive wait. So another plus point that people comment about Pop is the ability to go to the food cart and grab some food.
Yeah.
Top tip, if there's a lot of you, share a pizza. You know, the $16, $17, rather than paying, what, $10, $11 for a little bit of a pizza, you can pay $18, $19 and get a whole pizza, and they will do half cheese and half pepperoni as well. So that's a plus point.
Yeah.
I found that really good. The food at the Pop Food Hall is basic. It's what you would accept for a big food hall in a value resort.
Yeah, of course.
But you can always find something that you would like in the morning. You've got your Mickey waffles, you've got your bacon, your egg, your sausage type things, you've got your pancakes. During the day, you tend to have like a more substantial meal thing. So they tend to have a salmon or a meat stew. Then they've got pasta area with meatballs, without meatballs. Then you've got your classic chicken tenders and burgers. So again, lots and lots and lots of places of things that you can get. There's always fruit, there's always juices, there's an array of eaty, yummy cupcake type things as well. One of the things that many people cry out for and say you've got to get the tie-dyed cheesecake. I'm not a big fan of this because I just think the colour doesn't add anything to the taste. It's just pretty.
Yeah, that's often the case. I always find that with cupcakes sometimes. They look amazing, but they don't actually always tend to deliver afterwards.
Yeah. Another plus thing that I can mention as well is the Shop Everything Pop. It is incredibly handy to have that because sometimes some of the items might be in there that aren't in the theme park, or they tend to have a better collection of sizes. So that's something to bear in mind. There is also the mug that you can purchase from the Everything Pop shop and then utilise in all Disney hotels. So even if you're not staying at the Grand Floridian, if you go into their quick serve location, you can use it.
Yes, yeah, which is handy if you're going to be, if you want to resort hop, then it's quite a handy thing to have, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. One of the things we did deploy this year quite a lot was to get into the parks at a reasonable time because we were waking up at 7 o'clock anyway to book the virtual queues. So we got to the park early, bashed out quite a lot, and then went back to the room about 4 o'clock and had like an hour and a half break.
Right, okay, yeah. And recharge, yeah.
Yeah, just a quick recharge. Even if it was just going in the shower, getting changed and going out again. We felt it was convenient enough to do that at Pop.
Yeah, and get re-energised and start again sort of thing, yeah.
Yeah. Everything else, I didn't have any problems. I didn't get any knee bruises or anything like that. I used the pool on a couple of occasions and it was really pleasant. It's really handy that you can go and get a towel, have a lounge, dip in the pool. I use the main pool, the Hippy Dippy pool, which is lovely. Really good. And it's a nice little pool bar there. You can get some snacks and drinks if need be, or you could just cover yourself up a little bit and go into the main dining area and bring something out from there.
Nice. I would imagine it's quite with it being on the budget end, Michelle, quite nice for families and with kids and everything because you've got a choice of food options and downtime options as well, haven't you?
Yeah. Was it value for money? Well, spring break, incredibly expensive. £225 it averaged a night, which is quite a lot of money for a value resort.
It is.
I felt that the fact we weren't getting the housekeeping, as I've mentioned before, that was something that annoyed me. Anyway, midway the stay, I then moved over to another resort that was new to me, and I got to spend one night at Saratoga Springs.
Oh.
And the room itself was beautiful, but it did not have the Disney style theming that a lot of the other resorts I'd stayed in had.
Okay.
So some of the plus points about the Saratoga Springs room, it had a full type kitchen, i.e. you had a proper refrigerator, you had a microwave, you had a toaster, you had a coffee machine, so you could do a little bit more substantial even though it wasn't like a big work surface area. You could reheat something if you'd got leftovers from a meal, you could store it in the fridge, reheat it, so that was good. The bathroom was separate, so you had your toilet area and your bath area together, and then you'd have your sink area together, which was good again if you're sharing with different people.
Absolutely.
It had a bed out and then a sofa, and the sofa pulled down into another bed, and behind the bed was the most beautiful Disney theming that if you never pulled down you never would have seen the Disney theming.
Oh, that's a shame.
It really sort of annoyed me, sort of thinking, hang on a minute, Disney, you've gone to the trouble of doing this wonderful theming in this room and then nobody is able to see it because nobody is looking that way for it, which was a shame. The pull down was actually, it said Saratoga Springs Stables, and it had a mummy horse and a baby horse, and then it had a hidden Mickey with the lasso roping, and it was just super cute. A really nice room. The balustrades all had the Mickey designing, which again was cute. The bed had a Mickey towel design on, which was really cute, but there wasn't a great deal of that Disney theming.
Right, okay.
Another thing I found about this resort, I never made it into the main lobby area because
wow.
it is so incredibly spaced out. It really is.
Yeah, I think I've never been over there. I just remember it from traveling down the river from Port Orleans to what is now Disney Springs and seeing it, sort of thing. So being aware of it, but never actually having been over there.
Yeah. It was, it was a comfortable room. It was a clean room. It was handy that we could walk down to Disney Springs. It was about a 20-minute walk. So yeah, that was great. And then the following day, I checked into Old Key West.
Oh, another one I've not been to.
I've stayed at Old Key West before. We'd booked a studio and we got upgraded to a 1-bedroom. And that was like, oh my word, amazing. This time it was just, as I said, a studio, two permanent double beds. There was a nice little veranda with patio furniture, which was good. There was, it always makes me laugh with the DVC room that you have the Hoover in the closet because it's like, yes, of course, I'm coming on holiday. I'm going to Hoover the room. I'm going to do all my ironing. But yeah.
Yes, it always feels like a bit of an oxymoron, doesn't it? I'm on vacation. The reason I'm on vacation is because I want to get away from the normal things.
But bear in mind, Saratoga and Old Key West are both DVC resorts. Yeah. So, people take their holiday there and they may, feel compelled because you don't get that same level of housekeeping as you get in a non-DVC. Yeah. It had a beautiful stand-up safe, so you could put your resources in there, and it sort of doubled as a closet for you hanging up your clothes. The bathroom was all in one, so you had your sink, your toilet, and your shower, and it had the thing I hated more than anything else in the world.
What?
A shower curtain.
Oh.
I hate shower curtains.
Put a glass panel up, it's far easier.
I know. But minor gripe, we had some lovely H2O products in the bathroom, slightly upgraded pump dispenser ones as well. We had the Sea Marine collection which are in the blue bottles rather than the green bottled ones. So that was handy. Again, we had the microwave, toaster, coffee percolator, mini sink, beverage bar area and a proper fridge.
Nice.
We did go into the main area at Old Key West. The shop, again, really handy. We did eat at Old Key West as well, which I will be talking about in a later podcast. But out of the 3 resorts, which one would I stay at?
Ah, wow.
And I think probably my favourite is going to be Pop, just because it was so quick to get onto the transport to get into the parks.
You know what? If I'd have guessed, I was going to say Pop purely from that element of location.
Yeah. However, if I was going to go and have a couple of nights where I'm not going to be so bothered with the theme park and it was perhaps after a cruise or at the end of my holiday, I would have chose Old Key West.
Yeah, a bit more of a chill out sort of.
A bit more of a chill out.
Vibe.
Nice resort, lovely places to eat. We ate at the quick serve one morning and we ate at Olivia's, and both times I found it really, really delicious. The resort, yes, it's very spread out. We were very fortunate. We had use of a car, so we were able to drive from where our room was all the way up to the main area, park it up there, and then had quicker access to the bus, which is a top tip, because once you get off at the main bus stop, you then have to get an internal bus if the bus is not going round all the stops.
Yeah.
Beautiful surroundings though at Old Key West and Saratoga. They are impeccable. Beautifully manicured grass areas, lots of little mini lakes with fountains and things. So I wouldn't be discouraging on any of those resorts.
No.
Just bear in mind, if you're at Saratoga or Old Key West, the resorts are very expansive and that internal shuttle thing could be a bit of a pain.
Yeah, so I suppose definitely been aimed at DVC, isn't it? That element of, I suppose, presumption that you would have a car and could get yourself where you need to get to, yeah.
And I will say at Old Key West, they have the lime Dole Whip the key lime Dole Whip.
Oh.
And that was an incredible find, and I had to have it at 9 o'clock in the morning for breakfast.
But you're on holiday, Michelle. You're allowed to do daft things like that.
Yeah, and it was really nice as well. They even put some graham cracker dust on top of it, which was really good.
Nice.
So I think the next thing and the last thing I'm going to end the podcast with this week, Jane, is a little bit of Disney magic.
Ooh, we like a bit of Disney magic.
I love a bit of Disney magic because I was leaving, big tears down my face, Epcot on my very last day to make my solo trip over to Old Key West to get my bag and get my journey back to... And I had something magical happen.
What, pray tell, happened?
I was sat at the bus stop
Yeah.
at Epcot waiting for the bus, and then this bus, I was taking some pictures of the buses, and one of them said Magic Awaits, and he pulled up and I said, are you going to Old Key West? And he said yes, and I was the only person on the bus.
A whole bus to yourself?
And I said, how come you've just picked up me? And he said, well, this is what I'm doing. I'm making magic happens. I'm not really put onto a particular route. My role is just to keep driving round, looking if there is anybody waiting at a bus stop and picking them up and taking them to the resort.
A private transfer, no less.
And he didn't just take me to the main Old Key West. He actually dropped me off where my room was.
Oh, that's lovely.
So he got a cash compliment.
Absolutely. And it's lovely to hear that those sorts of things in this day and age are still happening.
Completely agree. So, as I say, accommodation, done and dusted, very, very happy. But I am going to leave the show with a top tip.
Okay, like a top tip.
Some people have been contacting me with regards to how to get a really good deal at Disney. My heart is wanting to go the week before Christmas because I break up really early, and I found an amazing deal. I went to Priceline and they have 7 nights at the Dolphin Hotel, which is excellently placed for Epcot and Hollywood Studios. And it was the cheapest deal ever. 7 nights under £2,000.
Wow.
Bearing in mind the time of year, and if I went to Disney, I couldn't even get All-Star for the same price.
Wouch.
So I was like, I really want to go Christmas. I really want to go. I need to get Christmas done. And I had a look at the flights and I had a look at everything. I can't do it. But I just thought I'd share that. You don't necessarily have to go direct. You can go indirect, and also with the Priceline deal, you don't pay for the hotel until you check in, and it's a flexible deal, so you could cancel it just in case you don't get the money.
Yeah, nice.
So yeah, right, lovelies, I'm gonna finish off this week's podcast and put a big bow on it. Thank you for listening, and we will be back next week. I think we'll do some food talk, Jane.
Yeah, we've not chatted food for a couple of weeks, have we?
Absolutely not. And we will do some chatting. If you want to hear more from the Disney Dream Girls, you can find us on Twitter and Instagram at DisDreamGirls. We have our podcast family page over on Facebook, Disney Dream Girls. And we also have our Patreon page, and our Patreon supporters help fund the show and keep it advert free. Patreon.com/Disney Dream Girls. But until next week, it's a goodbye from me.
And goodbye from me.